Out front tonight, breaking news. Donald Trump speaking live this hour, weighing in on the Democratic debate. Plus, Ivanka Trump breaking her silence, speaking for the first time about her father's run for president. It's an out front exclusive interview. And the former NBA star Lamar Odom, Khloe Kardashian's ex, fighting for his life tonight after he's found unconscious at a brothel. Press conference on his condition is this hour. Lots to get to tonight. Let's go out front. Good evening to all. I'm Erin Burnett. We begin out front tonight with the breaking news. This hour live, Donald Trump at a rally. We expect he will talk about the Democratic debate and some big new polls today. You see the crowd here in Richmond, Virginia. These are live pictures. Thousands are gathering to hear Trump in just a few moments. He will be coming out and speaking. The Republican frontrunner seen here arriving just moments ago, taking back the national stage today, panning the Democratic debate, making it clear that he thinks he could beat Hillary Clinton in a debate. This, as the latest CNN poll shows, Trump's dominance growing. Double-digit leads in both early voting states of Nevada and South Carolina, 16 points ahead of Ben Carson in Nevada, and double digits as well in South Carolina. The rest of the Republican candidates still in single digits. Sarah Murray begins our coverage out front at the Trump rally in Virginia. And Sarah, obviously Donald Trump is there, going to be speaking. I know you had a chance to speak to him yourself right as he got out of that car. What did he tell you?
You're exactly right. I caught up with Donald Trump as he was going in. And like you said he believes he could beat Hillary Clinton in a debate. I asked him why then he's going after Bernie Sanders today if he thought Hillary Clinton was the strongest competitor on stage. And he said, well, he believes Hillary Clinton may have won the debate. You just never know what's going to happen in an election like this. So it looks like he's trying to weaken both of those Democratic frontrunners, the top tier there, because he's not sure who he might be up against if he does win the Republican nomination, Erin.
Sarah, Donald Trump about to be introduced and taking that stage. Obviously, we're going to be bringing that to viewers live. But I'm curious, Sarah, where you are. You're at the Richmond International Speedway. Virginia does not have a primary till March, well down the line. Why is Trump focusing there?
You know, it's interesting because I think the Trump campaign has gotten a lot of flack. He gets a lot of questions about when he's going to drop out, and a lot of people assume that he will not go beyond the early nominating contest. I think him being here in Virginia is their campaign's way of saying, you guys are wrong. We're in this for the long haul. Virginia is not a state that votes until March 1st. It's part of the Super Tuesday states, and dozens of volunteers have been outside getting signatures, making sure that Donald Trump is on the ballot. And remember, the groundwork you lay in a state like Virginia plays through the general election. This is not just an important state in the Republican primaries, but it is a swing state in the general. So, you know, this looks like a Trump campaign that is in it for the long haul, Erin.
All right, Sarah, thank you very much. And out front now, our senior political analyst and former presidential advisor to Presidents Nixon, Ford, Reagan, and Clinton, David Gergen, along with our chief political correspondent, Dana Bash. As we said, so everyone knows, at the Richmond International Speedway, Donald Trump being introduced in a moment. As he speaks, we're going to bring that live because, Dana, no question, he is going to be weighing in on the Democratic debate. He already has taken a slam at Hillary Clinton. Here's what he said.
In all fairness, like her or not, she did her job, and they were very, very kind, and they probably, you know, if they want to win, they really should have been a lot tougher, in my opinion.
Right. So kind of conceding she was the winner, Dana, but saying he'd do better in some sense.
Well, of course. The name of his whole game is that he's the guy who could beat her in the general election. Of course, if you talk to Hillary Clinton's campaign, they're begging for a Donald Trump, a Republican nomination, because they think the opposite. But look, he's right that she did as well as she could have, probably exceeded expectations because it's been a long time since we've seen Hillary Clinton on the debate stage. She is a very skilled debater. In fairness, there wasn't a lot of, as Trump was even saying, there wasn't a lot of competition in terms of people really coming at her either on a political or on a policy level.
Right.
There was a little bit of back and forth with Bernie Sanders on guns and so forth, but there's still room for somebody else to get in there, maybe a vice president if they want to, because it was sort of her and everybody else on the stage.
It's true. Now, David, Donald Trump, in a sense, is talking today like he has this locked up. It's going to be curious what he says in a couple moments as he speaks here live, what he has to say about Hillary Clinton and the debate overall. But today he was complaining he doesn't have Secret Service protection yet, treating himself really as a presumptive nominee in some senses, right? So what do you say to that?
I think you ought to forget the Secret Service. Just keep doing. What is interesting to me is, Aaron, that he's not allowing Hillary Clinton or Bernie Sanders or anybody to take a victory lap from last night. Normally, you'd expect with Hillary winning performance that she'd be out, she'd be dominating the news. Here he comes. He's the showman. He comes right back out. Pop, boom. He's at the top of your show, and that's a really interesting thing. And I also think that. Last night CNN had 15.3 million viewers. I think it's 5 million more than the record. That's partly the Trump effect spilling over to Democratic politics.
It is. And, for those, Dana, who picked on Donald Trump, who we can see live here approaching the stage, going to speak to this crowd, as we said, we'll be taking it live. He has energized the entire nation to pay attention to this election, Dana.
That's a great point. The fact of the matter is we thought we really hit sort of a zenith in 2008 when we had that heavyweight championship between Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton that went on and on and on, all of those debates. So it was a bit surprising, frankly, that so many people tuned in. But I do think that Donald Trump really has brought people in. But the other thing is, I think maybe we should, give people credit. I know you. Is that Donald Trump? Maybe I'll toss it back to you, Aaron.
It is, and we're listening. He just said, "I love Virginia." As we get ready to listen to him, David, let me just get a quick reaction to you about where he stands as he's getting ready to speak. In the polls, the latest polls today, double-digit lead
in these two states.
Over his closest rival,
Ben Carson. That's right, and he's doing well in Iowa and New Hampshire. If he can stay in the lead until Thanksgiving, there's a tendency for things to sort of get frozen between Thanksgiving and the Christmas holidays. And that takes you right into January, right on the eve of Iowa. So he's got another 6 or 8 weeks. If he can continue this, he and Hillary Clinton could well be matched by Thanksgiving as the two presumptive nominees. We'll have to wait and see. I mean, isn't it amazing? I think
and you truly think it could happen at this point?
Oh, I think he could definitely win the nomination. I think winning. I think Hillary showed us last night winning the presidency is going to be he's going to be in for a hard fight. She was really good last night.
And Dana, let me ask you your reaction here to these the poll. Also, in addition to double-digit leads, right, over Ben Carson, his closest rival, it's now a lot more than it used to be. It used to be Donald Trump did very well in the economy, but not so much on other areas. Now, the economy, immigration, ISIS, foreign policy. Donald Trump is now the best person on each issue. I remember talking to him on the phone a few months ago. He said, "See, Aaron, Trump is number one on the economy, number one on the economy." He wasn't on any of those other issues. That's changed.
That's right. No, he is doing extremely well. And I think one of the things that was interesting and noteworthy was that today he didn't just, talk about Hillary Clinton. He put out an Instagram video against Bernie Sanders. And at first blush, you might think, oh, that's kind of odd. Why are you wasting your time, Donald Trump, with Bernie Sanders? Well, think about a state like New Hampshire. New Hampshire is a place where you don't have to be affiliated with either party to vote. And there could be some, believe it or not, some crossover voters, people who are just angry with the man and the system. And the fact is that if Donald Trump wants to win New Hampshire, he might have to take some potential Bernie Sanders voters. I mean, again, it does seem really counterintuitive to think that Donald Trump, a capitalist, would get anybody's voters who is even remotely socialist. But it's just the anger component that really, I think, is telling about the strategy that Donald Trump is starting to employ. A winning one. He really thinks he could do it.
David and Dana, stay with us because you're going to be with us throughout this. Donald Trump is thanking everyone right now. That's why we're not listening to it. But we do want to hear what he has to say about the debate. And we're going to hear that in just a moment. We're going to squeeze in a brief break. We'll be right back with Donald Trump live in our panel. And the breaking news, Donald Trump addressing thousands in Richmond, Virginia, now talking about his polls. Good polls today for Donald Trump. Here he is.
Thank you. Well, that one's big. 67%, said Trump. Can you believe it? Now, you got to remember, if we had two people running and you had 67%, that would be a landslide, right? That's a landslide. If you won with 67%, the press, look at all those cameras going back there. So many. So many. And look at all the red lights. Show the crowd, everybody. Show the crowd. Show the crowd. And you got a lot of people outside that the fire marshal would not let in. So it's one of those things. But I will tell you that when you have 67% in a two-person race, that's called landslide. That's called massive victory. I don't think there's ever been a victory. And here we have on a thing called the economy. Would you say that's important? I think so, right? So 67% are in favor for Trump. Okay. We won the state by a lot, meaning in the polls by a lot. Now, a couple of these categories, I have to read them. Illegal immigration, important. We're going to build the wall, okay? Believe me. We're going to build the wall. %100%. And, you know, so we're going to build it. It will be paid for. Who's going to pay for the wall? Who is going to pay for the wall? That's right. So, the next category, which is so important. That's okay. That's okay. Don't worry. That's all right. That's all right. That's why we have freedom of speech, folks, you know. And I'll tell you how dishonest the press is. We have thousands of people in this room, 7,000, I think 7,200 people. We have about 10 people over there. They'll get the headline. You won't. That's pretty disgusting. Pretty disgusting. But that's the way it goes. So illegal immigration, 55% want Trump. 13% is second place. That tells you something right there. 13%. 13%. On social issues, Trump is first. On foreign policy, thank you very much. That's great. Thank you very much. But it is true. I see a couple of cameras for about 4 people, and they're going wild, the cameras, you know. It's so disgusting. But that's all right. On foreign policy, Trump number 1, 34%. On ISIS, who's going to handle ISIS? Trump, 46. We're not going to play games. We're not playing games. We're not playing games. On the change on how we do in Washington, on the change, how are we going to change Washington? Who's going to do the most effective job? Trump, 60%. 60%. Here's an important one. Best chance of winning in November. Trump, number 1, 47%. Amazing. So we're number one at 42nd, and then you get into 16 and 10. That's a big difference. So we've all come a long way together. We've all come. And, you know, we have a lot of bad people out there. They want to stop progress, and you see it all the time. And I use the statement, the silent majority. The silent majority is back, folks. The silent majority is back.
Donald Trump speaking live at Richmond. He talked about polls. He's now talking more about polls and how he's number one, as we were just discussing, even in foreign policy right now. We're continuing to listen to him. But, David, let me just ask you what we've just seen Donald Trump do masterfully, which is stagecraft.
He does. You know, for all of his flaws, and he has many flaws, he is very, very good at stagecraft. I mean, to be asked, the very idea that after last night's debate, Democratic debate, which was potentially a very pivotal moment on the Democratic side, here we are talking about Donald Trump again. And he did that by seizing, he understands, come on prime time, be out there where you can be seen, do a big rally, and you can change the conversation. He's now holding out prospects. Now he's going to go on Saturday Night Live, hosting Saturday Night Live.
First candidate to host Saturday Night Live.
First to do that. You know what kind of audience he's going to get for that? It'll probably be funny. This is, I don't think we've experienced this kind of politics. I can't remember a candidate like this who has done what he has done. That's not to say he ought to be president. That's a wholly different question. But just in terms of pure stagecraft.
But you're saying 30 years experience, you've never seen anybody.
I've never seen
like
anybody who can hold the stage this way and keep doing it and yet be so empty of substance. There's no set of major convictions. Reagan could do really well with crowds, for example, but Reagan was more of a traditional politician. He was a leader who ran a state, the state of California. Donald Trump's never done any of that. Yeah. He has none of the normal credentials, and yet he's got everybody talking about him.
He does, and I can also say for our viewers, a lot of his prior rallies, the people were in front of him, behind him was a wall. Donald Trump vocally complained about that, said he wanted the media to show the crowd. So now look what he's done. He's gone ahead and put the crowd behind him, too. He thinks about details like that. Breonna Keeler is out front in Las Vegas, where Hillary Clinton is holding a rally tonight. She's been covering Hillary Clinton. And Breonna, what does the Clinton campaign say about this? That this is ostensibly a very big moment for Hillary Clinton, and yet on social media, the discussion throughout the day, a lot of it has been dominated by Donald Trump.
Yeah, she's not actually responding to it specifically, Aaron. It's really interesting. When she does respond to Donald Trump, it isn't in this head-on kind of way. What she tends to do is what we saw on Monday. When she first came to Las Vegas, she showed up at the Trump Hotel to stand next to picketers, union workers who were trying, through the culinary union, to unionize the Trump Hotel here in Las Vegas. She does that in a way to really, I think, attract union support, but also knowing if she goes to the Trump building, she's going to get some support. And then she also uses him as this device. We didn't hear her last night in the debate confront Donald Trump head on, but she used him as a device to paint all Republicans as the same. You hear him now giving this speech, and he's talking about building the wall and really riling up the crowd in that way. Well, last night at the debate, Hillary Clinton made an allusion to him as someone who is hostile to immigrants, but she described all Republicans as this. So it's a way for her to sort of loop Donald Trump in with other Republicans and try to rile up her base with that.
All right. Well, Breonna, thank you very much. Breonna, as we said, with Hillary Clinton, who has several events tonight. Donald Trump speaking in Richmond. We are watching that. We're going to continue to watch it, holding court at a very enthusiastic and raucous crowd in Richmond. When we come back, more of that. And our exclusive interview tonight, Ivanka Trump, for the first time speaking out. And she's defending her dad's comments about women.
Look, my father is very blunt. He's very direct. He is not gender specific in his criticism of people.